Hey Meno Warriors, welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about stress of the festive season, because if you're anything like me, your brain's going drrrr, and there's a million and one things going on. And today is about giving you quick, easy steps that you can take in order to help calm the frayed nerves and help you catch a few of those millions of balls that you're currently juggling. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kate Hartley. I share a weekly video with you every Monday around something related to menopause. And I thought today we are all rather distracted. We're a bit fragmented. If you've got brain fog, it's just like, how the heck do I manage? How do I do all this? And also, as we go through menopause, we have a reduced resilience to stress. And you might be feeling that fizz building up. You may be incredibly lucky and have it all sorted. And you're thinking, yeah, you've nailed it. This is for me and for you. If you're feeling a little bit frantic right now and you've just got so many things going on, it's going to give you easy strategic tips that you can use in order to help calm yourself. Now, one thing I really do want to emphasize is that if you're taking the time to watch this, put the things that I share into action. Because one of the things that we all have a tendency to do is when life gets really, really busy, who is the first one we stop looking after? It's ourselves, isn't it? And when we stop looking after ourselves, that's when you get that feeling of frenzy, that feeling of fizz, the feeling that you're kind of dropping too many balls. And I feel it under the surface. I feel like I fizz. And I don't know if that's how you sort of experience it too. So do take action. And I know that when I'm on point with my self-care, the stressful stuff seems less. You build your resilience to stress. It doesn't remove the stress, but it definitely builds your resilience. And that is what this is all about today. So I'm going to go through a few easy tips that you can put into action, ideally today, and it will help you get through that festive period feeling much more connected, much more grounded, and also, most of all, enjoying it. And think of it a bit like a rechargeable battery on your phone. If you're not plugging yourself in regularly, i.e. a bit of self-care, your battery's just going to run lower and lower and lower. And no amount of forcing is going to make that battery charge any higher. So consider yourself, I know it's a bit of a random metaphor, but consider yourself like that mobile phone. If you don't plug yourself in and self-care and recharge, you're going to run out. So firstly, one of the things that I do, particularly when life gets really stressful, is I go back to affirmations. And you might think, oh God, that's just such a load of woo-woo. Actually, do you know what? There is something really powerful, because the only thing that needs to work is that you believe it. And when you believe that things are, maybe energy, vibrations out there are serving you rather than working against you, or that you are affirming that you have everything you need within you in order to get through this period, it does give you a sense of control. Now, I am a great believer in just using one, two, or three of them regularly. So I spend just a few minutes every day, and I probably won't be sitting down in a busy period of my life thinking, the universe is conspiring to help me. The universe is conspiring to help me. I'll be doing it while I'm doing other stuff. So it might be while I'm boiling the kettle for my morning drink. It might be while I'm in the car. It might be while I'm out putting the bins out. I will be replaying these affirmations in my mind. And you will find they give you a sense of groundedness. Now, that may not work for you. I think it's really important also that we're all completely unique. We're all individual. And you might just think, "That's completely woo-woo." Listen, if you don't believe in it, just don't force yourself to do it. It's a bit like meditation and me. Meditation and me do not go together. But meditation may work for you. So again, in the morning, if you can, just find a way to start your day off on a positive note, because when the day runs away with you, that's when kind of like that panic sets in. So if you can take even just a few moments in the morning, it might even be while you're still in bed, it's just all right, okay, I'm going to just take a few deep breaths, like gently in, hold them for a few seconds, breathe out gently through your nose or your mouth. That actually stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system. That is actively stimulating your relaxation response. And I know it sounds a bit kind of, you're actively stimulating your relaxation response. We actually do need to actively stimulate our relaxation response. So deep breathing is another way that you can do that. And if you can deep breathe and maybe meditate at the same time, even better. So just take a few minutes. And I think we also think, oh, I have not got 30 minutes to sit and meditate. You don't need 30 minutes, even if it's just 2 minutes. It's about having that ability to just let the thoughts go. And it's not about having a clear mind either. It's just allowing, if the thought comes, just let it go. Thought comes, just let it go. Mine are like speed trains passing in the night. That's why I'm so useless at meditating. But again, find what works for you. So if you can start your day off on a positive note, That is going to set the rest of your day up for success. Plus, also, don't forget, when you're doing that, you're automatically bringing down that stimulated response, so that fight and flight response that you get when you're super busy and feeling overwhelmed. So by starting your day with relaxation methods, you're automatically building your resilience to stress. If you're stuck in front of a computer for large periods of time, like I am, what I also suggest is just getting outside every now and again. Go and take like 15-minute nature breaks. So maybe once every couple of hours, get up, move around. You might have a really busy life like I have. If your work day is anything like my work day right at the moment, my work days are just literally bonkers. They're from like 6 a.m. through till sort of 7 p.m. most days. And literally, apart from my half hour of workout and maybe a dog walk, I'm working and my brain is full on and I'm sitting down way longer than I want to. I've sort of had to move into a different aspect of my business and I'm busy building that up right now. So for me, I feel like it's all on. So I'm really making myself practice what I preach, as in few affirmations in the morning, a little bit of deep breathing, particularly if I wake up during the early hours and I can't go back to sleep, I'm deep breathing, and then making sure that I'm doing 30 minutes of intentional exercise, i.e. my workouts 5 days a week, and as much as possible getting out into the nature with the dogs for a decent walk, plus just a few extra little breaks here, there, and during the day, just to get outside and just unplug for a few minutes before I go back in. It's also, you'll notice your productivity improves that way. You cannot be on all the time. It's not good for you. And you do lose your creativity, you lose your productivity. So get up every now and again, move around, ideally get outside, and you'll find that will help to just keep you tanking along. If you're in one of those situations where there's no real option but to tank along, do what you can with it. It's not about saying, well, I have to tank along, so I can't do any of these self-care practices. Yes, you can. And actually, when you're tanking, that's really when you need self-care the most. You know, the self-care moments really are like when you're packing a suitcase. There is only so much you can pack in. And eventually you're going to split the seams. You're going to keep cramming stuff in, like, you know, busy cramming it into your day. You're going to try and zip it up. You're going to be sitting on it. You're going to have your partner sitting on it. And the suitcase will just burst open because you can only put so much in. We are like that too. There is only so much that we can do before we start to break at the seams as well. So be really mindful of that. We are not robots. You are a human being that needs self-care. And it's up to you to factor in those little moments of self-care throughout the day so that in those really, really busy periods, you are maintaining some kind of maybe not balance, but it helps you feel a little bit more anchored. So just moving on to workouts, because you know how much they help me with my mental health. And when we are making a strong body, even if you've got, you know, you're right at the beginning of your strength training, your new activity season of life, which you definitely need to be doing if you are menopausal, not just for the weight loss, not just for the physical gains, but for your bone strength, your joint health, your mental health, your gut health. It's all tied in. And when we work out regularly, ideally 5 days a week, you want to be building those muscles, because a strong body does give you a stronger mind. But also the muscles, when you're using your muscles, they release things called myokines, which are called the hope molecules, which help to improve your mental health. They help with your gut health. So gut health also helps to support your hormone balance and your mental health. It also helps to stimulate the production of human growth hormone. That's known as like the elixir of youth. It's not going to roll back the clock, but it does help to give you more energy. Our cells in our body need us to move. That is how we create ATP, which is like our, you know, our sort of energy for the body. If we're not strength training or moving our bodies with intention, our energy levels are depleted. So strength training, you might think, oh, I'm too exhausted, I just don't have the energy. I promise you, if you can do even 15 minutes of intentional movement, and it doesn't have to be like running and high knees and, you know, horrible mountain climber type things. It can be stuff that you feel able to do. It is going to energize you. It also helps to regulate your insulin levels. Now, insulin is our fat storing hormone. It does tend to rise naturally as we go through the menopause. And I know a lot of you have the belly fat issue. It's something that I struggled with in the earlier days as well. And by keeping your insulin levels at a healthy level, i.e., keep off the refined sugars as much as you can do. I know it's a difficult time of year to do that. Try not to drink too much alcohol at the parties if you drink alcohol, But just be mindful that when you're working your muscles directly suck glucose out of the bloodstream, which improves your insulin sensitivity. It also improves your happy hormone secretion. So 90% of your serotonin is created in the gut. So obviously working out helps your gut health, but it also gobbles up your stress hormones. It helps to get rid of the excess cortisol in our system. And right now, if you're super busy, I can feel the cortisol in my system. So that's why, again, I'm being really strict to myself to try and do everything I can to keep that cortisol as low as possible, even though it is high, but it would be a heck of a lot higher if I wasn't taking care of myself right now. So please be mindful of that. Strength training, I think we all think, oh, it's just, I'm just going to let myself get a bit flabby for the month. There is so much more that you gain by strength training for your mental health, your resilience, gut health, insulin levels, energy levels, productivity, brain fog. It helps to overcome that as well. So let strength training be your best ally. And if you feel like you can't fit in 30 minutes a day, fit in 15 minutes, anything is better than nothing. Obviously, the next major thing is fueling your body for energy. So it's avoiding the sugars, the processed foods, the huge amount of carbs that we tend to eat at this time of year, keeping them to a minimum as much as you possibly can do. And it is about having fun during this festive season. There are more parties. You're probably going to be eating and drinking more than you normally do. But on the days where you have got nothing going on, make sure and in actual fact, the days when you've got the parties too, make sure you're starting off with a really protein rich breakfast or brunch or whenever you have your first meal. Make sure, in fact, throughout every meal of the day that you're prioritizing protein, because protein is going to help you feel fuller for longer. It's going to help mitigate some of those sugar rushes if you're eating the not quite so healthy stuff as well. It's also going to help you sleep better. Protein really is the building block of life. So I know when I'm super stressed, like I am now, because of myriad things that are happening at the moment, my life feels like it's a bit out of control right now. So I am making sure that literally every meal I eat has got as much protein in it as I can fit in. I'm also really prioritizing fresh fruit, vegetables. Carbs, I'm keeping to a minimum. So in the morning, I might have 1 or 2 rounds of toast. 2 rounds of like my homemade sourdough toast is like the most. Normally it's like 1 round of toast. Maybe a little bit of carb at lunchtime, but very rarely right now because I know I need to keep my blood sugars as stable as possible. And the carbs are not going to do that. They're going to help boost the blood sugars, and I do not want that to be happening. For my evening meals, I'm going nowhere near potatoes, even though I love them. It's all sort of, it could be roast vegetables, it could be air fried turnip strips or air fried parsnip, carrots, those sorts of things. They are going to impact your blood sugar levels to a lesser degree than the potatoes. I am having the occasional sweet potato, but I'm focusing very much more on things like mashed cauliflower, mashed broccoli, mashed sprouts with some butter and maybe a little blob of horseradish sauce, blending that all up. And yes, it is a little bit like tasty baby food, but then with a really decent size of protein on top of that. And that is forming a large part of my meals at the moment. And you might think, yeah, that sounds disgusting. You may be vegan. In fact, I've got a chickpea dal in my slow cooker cooking at the moment. So it's not just about, eating all the meat proteins. It's getting as much protein in as you possibly can do, because that is going to help reduce the stress response on your body. When your insulin is going higher because of eating more sugary stuff or the more carbs, that is a stressor on your body too. So while I think carbs are brilliant, they have a place. You want to eat them more in the morning than you do in the evenings. We don't need them in the evening unless you're a shift worker and you're working through the night, in which case you would reverse and just make sure that you're not overdoing that too much. And do you know what? As much as I love potatoes, I actually really crave my veggie filled carb alternatives. Without the true potatoes, I don't really eat much pasta. Again, that's one of those things. Occasionally as a treat, but not as a regular thing. I always talk about the spaghetti bolognese bowl, because most of us, when we have spag bowl, we have a massive bowl of spaghetti and like a little bit of the bolognese on top. We don't need all that spaghetti. We probably need an eighth of a normal bowl when we serve up our spaghetti. So you can use spiralized courgettes, spiralized or zucchini, depending on where you're listening to this. You can have all sorts of sort of like different vegetables that you could use instead. And you might think, oh God, that's so boring. I can't be bothered to do that. What are your goals? If your goals are to reduce your stress, possibly get rid of a little bit of extra fluff around the middle, or even at least just get to January not feeling like you've overdone it on every level, do consider having the vegetables instead of the pasta, because it will keep you fuller for longer too. You will feel so much better afterwards. You feel so satiated after a meal like that. You feel fresher, you feel cleaner, but you feel fuller. So do give it a try. Don't poo-poo it until you've given it a shot. And veggies and protein are going to be your new best friends if you are feeling antsy through this festive season. At the end of the day, or you can do this in the beginning as well, I would also list 3 things that you're grateful for. Because again, the day can sweep away from us. No matter how well you're looking after yourself, there are days when it just goes, it flies by. You kind of feel like you've been shallow breathing all day long because you're rushing from one thing to the next. That might just be one project to the next. That's exactly sums up my life to the T right now. And at the end of the day, I try and calm myself down by just being grateful. In fact, I do it throughout the course of the day. If there's something that I see outside, or when I let the dogs out at night and I can see the stars, and in fact, I saw a couple of shooting stars the other day, and I just thought, God, I'm so lucky to be able to see the stars and the view outside my window now. The snow's on top of the mountains and it looks absolutely glorious. There are, even when things get really difficult in your life, there is so much that you can also still be grateful for. So focus on those gratitude things. And whether you believe it or not, I'm a great believer that when we are grateful, we bring a more positive energy into our life. It's very easy to get stuck in that rut of, God, I can't believe that happened, and now this happened, and negative, negative, negative. And then we feel ourselves getting antsy, and we might snap at people, and we don't really want to snap at them, and then we feel guilty. All of that pulls your energy down. It pulls down your energetic vibration. And I'm a great believer that energy attracts energy. So when we get down in these ruts, sometimes it can be really hard to get out of them unless we take strategic action to literally try and change our mindset about things. So really looking for the positives, looking for that gratitude, allowing yourself that little bit of self-care throughout the course of the day. And I mean, isn't it crazy that I'm doing this video encouraging us to look after ourselves? It should be the first thing that we prioritize is our own self-care, because it's like when we're on the plane, you know, you put your own oxygen mask on first so that you can help the others around you. The same thing applies in life. But I mean, I'm as guilty of it as anyone else. It is tough to do, isn't it? So be your own best friend, be bossy with yourself, and make time for your self-care, because not only will you benefit, everybody else will around you, but you'll also become more productive, you'll be better rested, you'll just feel less antsy, and your entire physiology will benefit from you literally just taking a few minutes daily to look after yourself. The other thing I would suggest is that you get good at saying no. Know what your capacity is, and then don't accept anything else. I've been doing much more of that over the last 18 months, and actually it's really served me. I've not offended anyone. I've helped them understand why I do not have the capacity for this particular thing at the moment. And it really helps you feel like you're in control of your life. We all have this tendency to just people please and want to say yes and just say, yeah, I can, I'll fit it in somehow. And I can't fit it in this week because I'm absolutely back to back, but I'm sure I can fit it in somehow next week. And then next week arrives and you're literally back to back again. Get good at saying no. You could say, no, thank you for considering me, but I need time for myself right now. I have too much on my plate. I hope you understand that. And of course, they're going to say yes. Or you could say, I would love to help, but I'm at full capacity right now. Can you scoot back to me in 2 or 3 months? Yeah, if you can't do it, you can't do it. So don't try and shoehorn it in, because you will end up resenting it. You'll end up making yourself cross because you said yes to it. And at the end of the day, it will have a knock-on impact on the other things that you are already busy with. Finally, remember that the festive season is about connection and not perfection. If you have like a series of dinner parties on the go, they're not going to care if you've got a dusty surface. They're not going to care if you've not vacuumed. They're not going to care if you've not mopped the floors or whatever it might be, or if you've not created, you've not hand cooked all your like your petit fours or your starters or whatever it might be. If you need to, go and buy chopped vegetables in the bags. If you need to, go and buy some nice quality desserts from one of the shops that you like going to. Make it easier for yourself, make it more enjoyable for yourself. And you might be thinking, yeah, but part and parcel of the pleasure of a dinner party is that I cook it all myself. I'm exactly the same. So in that case, make other space in your schedule so that you have time to do that, so you have time to actually enjoy it. And if you can, prep food in advance, for the week prior to the parties kicking off. Maybe get good at, batch cooking some vegetables that you then can just like microwave or reheat before you actually serve them up. So you still cook them, they're still prepared, but you've already done them. It might be, you can cook some or prepare some desserts in advance and they're already done. Just try and, add, maybe just, do a little bit every day for the week leading up to your dinner party or whatever you might be doing, so that you have got things ready already, so that on the day of the said event or said events, you're not literally thinking, okay, I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to achieve everything. And it's all going to be a complete rush. And you're going to get to the end of the day and you're going to be stressed and the party will happen. And you'll wake up the next morning, maybe feeling a bit ropey and just thinking, how the heck did that even happen? Which is such a shame because, if you're hosting the event, you really want to enjoy it too. So ultimately, if you are getting to the end of this month and you're just feeling so frazzled, in my Thrive and Revive Facebook community, we are launching into a sugar detox in January. It's going to be a fun detox and it's going to be one where you will get really great results. It's one I have run in the past and it's super effective. Right now, if you would like to join our free community, there is a link in the description box below. I'd love to get to know you better because it is a little bit sterile on YouTube, just the comments, we can't really see each other or get to know each other. So if you would like to join that group, you'd be very, very welcome. I run monthly themes in that group. So we've got adrenal health coming up. We've got low toxic living. We've got, oh my gosh, so many different things. Like off the top of my head, I can't actually remember what they are. Sleep, we're going to be dealing with sleep. So I know everybody struggles with sleep so much. All sorts of different stuff. So if you'd like to be part of that group, if you join it and just think, oh, it's not really what I wanted, you can just leave it. I mean, it doesn't matter. But if you'd like to be part and parcel of that group, then just click the link below. If you've not done so yet, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss future episodes. And if you did find this helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Listen, I hope you have a great week. I will look forward to seeing you next Monday too. And if you've got any tips that you can share with us about staying on top of the craziness of the festive season, then please leave them in the comments below. I will look forward to catching you soon. Thank you so much for your company and see you next week.